Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Deadpool and Wolverine, and I am very excited to have this figure. I think that it looks better in person than it did in the promotional images, because I'm going to be honest with you, the promotional images for this figure did not excite me really at all. And just to kind of get it out of the way real quick, I did, obviously, as you saw in the thumbnail and all the other thumbnails, I made the other look for Logan from the film, which I like this a lot more, and I've done a lot more to it, and I'll go into that a little bit more as the video goes on and kind of discuss some of my gripes with this figure. But I like how this figure looks, and I'm happy to have both of them, because obviously it's two very different looks from the film. Even though it is the same suit, it's still, they're both so iconic in their own ways, and I love having two of it. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into what Wolverine comes with. So as you can see on him right now, he does have the Hugh Jackman head sculpt, which looks phenomenal, by the way. I was trying to figure out which Hugh Jackman head sculpt I liked more from all the ones that we've gotten, and I don't know if it's like the recency bias or if it's just, obviously Hugh has, aged a little bit since the prior X-Men films, and so you're able to get a little bit more of those like aged lines in there that kind of give more likeness. And I feel like this just looks so much like Hugh. Like, look at that right there and tell me that's not, like, that's Hot Toys quality. In my opinion, that's freaking Hot Toys quality. That is just impeccably beautiful. Like, you kind of look at it head on and you can see Hugh in it for sure. But, like, when the light catches it right here, you're like, oh, damn, that's Hugh Jackman. That is 100% Hugh freaking Jackman. That is the Wolverine. Other than that head sculpt, we also get the masked head sculpt, which I love this. This looks so awesome. This looks a lot better than the promotional image too. And I have not heated this one up, but I kind of want to, because I think that it is a little bit warped from the box, but man, it looks good. I love it. The paint's a little missed on this one. This was definitely the worst, quote unquote worst of the two copies of him that I got, but he's got the basketball texture like Deadpool does on here, which looks really good. A little bit of facial hair printed on here as well, which could have been done a lot better, but it's, it's not bad. We also, of course, get his claw hands, because these look, it's Wolverine. We can't not have claws. These also individually come out. At least it seems like it. They might be glued in here, but I don't want to go pulling on them because they're actually pretty perfect. Like, they actually look really good, which is something that we don't typically see from Wolverine figures. I mean, we have the past, like, couple of versions of him that we've gotten, but, man, like, God, remember before when they were flimsy and they were, like, curled and stuff in the box? But these look great. It's got the basketball texture throughout the gloves, got the blue and the yellows going on. And then we also get an alternate left grip hand and an alternate right punching hand, which is bizarre to me, because why do we not have, like, two grips, two fists, or just two fists? Like, I'm not complaining, because I actually, I found from an old McFarlane Hopper from Stranger Things, I found a wine bottle, and it's perfect for, having that scene of them in the hideout. Like, that's awesome, and I love having that option. But yeah, it's just kind of weird that they decided to go through this, like, go with this option instead of, like, having two of each. It gives me the old Spider-Man vibes, because I know a lot of people are going to complain about this. Like, why doesn't he have two fists? Or why doesn't he have two grip hands? But, like, I like the option. This is cool. And now taking a look at the detail on Wolverine. I almost called him Hugh, which obviously it is. But this looks so awesome. It's got the basketball texturing throughout. It's not super, like, overly defined like some figures are, but it's also not, like, too subtle to where it's not existent. So that's really cool. And I feel like if you were to give this a wash, it would easily stick and look phenomenal, which I may do on the other one. I have not decided yet, because I don't know. In person, I kind of like how these look. Like, I don't know. I think obviously giving him the battle damage would look really cool, and who knows, maybe I'll feel differently later on, but I don't know. I like how it looks as it is. I do wish, though, that they went with the alternate, like, head and neck piece that the Mark 85 from the 2-pack did, because, obviously, like, the yellow goes all the way up, and I just feel like that would have been really cool for them to do, but it's not a big deal by any stretch of the imagination. He's got the little bit of silver going throughout, which looks really cool. I love when they have that little bit of detail, because they easily can skip over that and leave it to the import companies to make that happen, but I'm really glad when they do that stuff. We've got the blues, the blacks, the yellow, obviously. It just looks, oh man, this looks awesome. I'm so happy that we have Hugh in his suit. And not only that, but we got him in the iconic, like, astonishing look, which is what I grew up on. And then we got my personal favorite, which is the John Byrne brown and tan, which is just, oh my God, it's chef's kiss. And Hasbro, I'm begging you, please, you can have my kidney. You can have both of them. I don't care. I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? He's got the shoulder pads, which I'll get more into those here when we get to articulation, I guess, or something, because they're incredibly frustrating. But he's got the, you know, the gauntlets down here, which these are separate pieces. They are glued and pegged in, but like they're separate pieces. That's why it was really easy for me to get them off and put them onto the sleeveless arms. He's got the belt, which is a floating piece, by the way. So like if you get the figure and it looks like this in the package, don't freak out. It is normal. I thought it was going to be like a separate, or not a separate piece, but it is. And speaking of separate pieces, unfortunately, his boots are pegged in the same way the Astonishing Wolverine was. These are not on swivels. I don't know why they opted to do that way, but it's incredibly frustrating because, well, one, they don't even look like why are they so asymmetrical like this? I don't understand. They just, it's incredibly frustrating when they don't give us boot swivel. Boot swivel should be a mainstay of every single action figure. I don't care who it is. I don't care if there's room for a cut. I don't care. Do it. Because they're just, it's, oh God, it's so annoying when it doesn't have it. He's got the blues and the blacks going through down the sides here and everything like that. The blue and the black on the boots and everything. The little bit of black stripe above, under his knee pads. A little bit of black on the back. He's got the pockets, all that fun stuff. You know, pretty much kind of all the detail that we saw in the film, which is really cool. I'm glad that they didn't change it too much from concept art. That way, when they were making the movie and making the figure, you know, they didn't, like, it's not such a huge juxtaposition. And now, as for articulation, he's got some new engineering feats, which is really cool, and I hope that Hasbro kind of keeps going on with this, because the first time, at least for my collection that I remember seeing it, was on General Hawk from G.I. Joe, but we'll get into that in a second, and I'll bring that up. But he has the dumbbell joint, which we've seen for a while, you know, on the Marvel Legends. It can go up that far. Unfortunately, it is, you know, kind of hindered. It can go down that far, but it is easy to modify, so you can get, you know, a lot more range out of it. He's got the tilt, rotation, all that stuff. Here is what I was talking about with the new engineering feats. The shoulders are actually ball joints, like the McFarlane style ball joints, which is, I say McFarlane style, but like that's the closest I can think of for a domestic company. But so his arms can actually like shift down, shift up, shift all the way around and all stuff. So he doesn't really have butterfly joints. They're just on a ball joint, which is really cool. I actually really like that because the black in here is like a shoulder cap instead. But they, for some reason, opted to stick his shoulder pads to his arms on these big-ass plastic pieces, as you can see right there, instead of making them like the shoulder caps like we've seen for like a couple years now as a mainstay. Because now, as a result, you can only get his arms to go up about that far, whereas before, you could have easily gotten them to go up all the way, which really sucks, I'm going to be honest. So I'm going to end up doing that and fixing that figure, you know, fixing this figure by doing that. But he has bicep swivel, double-jointed elbows that go up. They're a little tight. They're a little tight. Jeez, there we go. Go up all the way, which is awesome. His torso can go that far forward, which is really good. That far back, which is really good as well. Waist swivel. His legs go out that far, up that far, and back that far. It's not too bad. He does still have the weird kind of like jutting out hips that Toby had, but when you get him to like kind of like this, in this pose, where his legs are out a little bit, because you're not going to have Wolverine just standing there. You're going to have him probably spread leg, you know, a little bit. It's not that noticeable, so for me, it's not something that I'm going to super modify, but I may end up futzing around with it. We'll see. He has thigh swivel, double-jointed knees that go back that far, which is insane. No boot swivel or anything, which is absolutely stupid, but his feet can go back that far, up that far, and of course, ankle pivot. And now onto some size comparisons. Here he is next to the superior version of this figure in my custom. And then the Deadpool from the same wave, and these look great together. I love this. This is like night and day of two different figures, and I love this. I'm excited to give this one a shot, though, and like try and give him the boot swivels that I did on this guy, and fix the, you know, Dremel out the neck, and give him more range within there as well as making the shoulder cap pieces instead of the fixed points on his shoulders or on his arms or what have you. And then here he is next to his other fellow wave mate in the beginning of the movie, you know, down on his luck, drunk Wolverine, you know, in his street clothes. And then the Deadpool 1 figure, this is not the Legacy Collection, this is, well, it's also customized from me, but like, this is the original 2-pack one. And I like how this looks as well. I think that, you know, if you dirtied up this one a lot more, I think that they would look really good together. But I don't know, it's kind of jarring looking at him like this, because you're like, well, why is he so bright and colorful compared to Deadpool? And then last but not least, here he is next to the kind of fellow Wavemate-ish. They all released at the same time, but it is a Legacy Collection version. The Colossus from Deadpool 1, which these two look great together. Obviously, like I said in the Deadpool video, Colossus is a little way too tall, but again, I'd rather him be way too tall than too short, so I'll take it. And then here is the original Wolverine, the Amazon one, but he has the Old Man Logan hands and then the X-Men Origins Wolverine head? Yeah, X-Men Origins Wolverine head. And I love this. I think that these look great. I love how different these are from each other. Like, they look like, you know, obviously they both look like Hugh Jackman, but these feel like two separate characters, like they're supposed to. And I think that's really cool. Overall, it's good, but it can be better. There are quite a few things that I actually would change with this figure. Similarly to the Astonishing Wolverine, which is what this suit is based on, he doesn't have the boot swivel, which is so stupid. Like, it's a separate piece. It is. It's a separate piece because I took apart, you know, the other copy of the figure and I gave him boot swivels on the sleeveless version. It's separate pieces to where they should have just made that a swivel. I don't know why they didn't. And so that's a huge, huge annoyance on this figure. His thighs are they stick out too far. I don't know why they did that. Same thing with Toby as well. I'm not sure what that was about, but who knows? Maybe we'll get like redos down the line or something like that. But again, if you spread his legs just like a little bit and pose him around, because you're probably not going to have him just standing there, it's not a big deal. The shoulder pads, however, are a huge deal, because why are those not on like the little cap pieces from like the Black Series Stormtrooper stuff that they've been doing for the last couple of years? Like, why is this not what it should be? And it's really frustrating because it takes away so much of the range. I do like the figure though. Like, I think that, like I said, it's good, but it can be better. It gives me a good base to create the sleeveless version that I wanted to, and I did that, and it, you know, gives me a lot to go off of in terms of the modifications that I want to make on this figure. So it's not, I'm more impressed with this Wolverine figure than I am the Deadpool. And I think that's because the Deadpool was just, the original one was just peak. Like, I think this one just kind of had very big shoes to fill. And I feel like if we hadn't gotten that other version of Deadpool, this figure would be amazing. Or that figure would be amazing. But I don't know. We've gotten such great Wolverine figures in the past that this one definitely feels a little lackluster in comparison. But I do like it. I like it a lot. You know, some modifications will take it and elevate it heavily, and I am very excited to put him next to Captain America, to Iron Man, with Spider-Man, Toby, and otherwise, you know, in their suits and everything. Like, we should have gotten, you know, way, 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 way back when, but, you know, better late than never. So, yeah, that's going to do it for me, and I will catch you all in the next one. See ya.